I was diagnosed with PTSD. So PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorder. I didn't know this up to 2 years later from the day I was experiencing this. So I had a lot of traumatic events when I was a teen. And I'd say I didn't know that I had this PTSD. Up to later is when I discovered that all these signs that I have been experiencing were signs of PTSD. Many a times I had this anger outburst. And since I have siblings, I realized that when I shouted at them and I was just angry at them for no reason, is when I discovered I am depressed and I have a lot in mind. Because at times I could sleep and have a lot of nightmares, and sometimes I even had insomnia, so I could not even sleep at all. And when these intrusive thoughts were in my mind and these images, I was just feeling so sad and so bad. Yeah, and many a times you could see I was having these cry spells. I could just sit and cry for no reason, and I wasn't even understanding myself.
We have quite a number of cases that are easily identified as mental health cases, and there are those that are really hard to identify. But basically, as long as an individual is unable to cope with the normal life stresses or unable to cope with internal problems that they have, like diseases or ailments, or unable to cope with various individuals at their workplaces, you will find that there's an element of mental health issues in those regards. So it's an area that is quite broad, but exactly how we are doing, personally, I'll say we are not doing so well.
My story started like 3 years ago, where I fell into depression. Okay, at first I never realized that I was there, you know. For me, I felt like, okay, life was still the same, but some things were not the same, you know. But then again, was some things that felt like too much, you know, like sometimes you'd feel like my brain is exploding, you know. And basically my normal routine wasn't the same. Like, I'll literally wake up and I feel like literally I don't want to do anything, just want to stay idle, you know. At that time, you know, I never had someone who could like tell me, yeah, there's something not right with you, because I literally tried hard to hide it, you know, because now you literally don't want people to think that you're facing this thing, because you feel like if people notice you have an issue, maybe people start giving space. It reached a point that I used to pluck out my hair, you know. Like when it comes to me, like I would start pulling and pulling and pulling.
The current state of mental health among Kenyans is actually quite worrying. We see it on the news every day. We have homicides, we have suicides, we have rising rates of alcoholism. From my perspective, we are not well. We have stress, we have joblessness, especially joblessness, and Kenyans are just, at this rate, we are hopeless.
About 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with anxiety. Before I realized I had it, I was losing concentration. And then like I was feeling sad. Sometimes my muscles could knock out. Yeah, until when I visited an hospital, then I found out I had it. I felt rejection from friends, family. Like someone could tell you, like, maybe you're doing some drugs, you are doing very bad in school. Like my exams were very bad. At some point I had to drop out to take a break. So taking that time to recover a little so I could go back, I had a lot of struggles. I was in level 2. Level 2 of anxiety is when you find like this is too much, you cannot do it, you can't totally concentrate, like you can't totally take care of yourself. Is when I said like, I want to visit an hospital, I want to take some checkup, I want to get a specialist who would take me through the journey slowly by slowly, someone who would like understand what I need and what I've gone through and what I will have to take to overcome this.
Basically, someone who is a bit floppy, someone who is not open, someone who just look obviously depressed. You may ask someone, what's their name, how old are you? They start breaking down, they start tearing, or you ask them a few things and then they look like they do not really want to open up, you may say those could be the obvious symptoms of mental health issues. But there are those who are good at masking, not intentionally, but they have not really realized that they have a mental health problem. So they communicate to you very well, but deep down, they could be a mental health issue that they're having. So they are not really common symptoms. We as practitioners really have to find a very good way of identifying these telltale signs.
After 2 years of this event is when I started seeking help. I went and told my mom, and we started looking for help from very many psychiatrists, but I realized that I'm not even having any progress until the day I came across Mindful Kenya. Is when I can say I had now progressed in whatever was going on with my condition.
I went to a friend. When I talked to a friend, then a friend of mine introduced me to Mindful Kenya.
What we do is basically we want to ensure there is universal mental health, affordable and available to each and every Kenyan. We are engaging all the health facilities around so that we're able to have a collaboration, because when anyone walks into a facility, we want them to be screened. We partner with hospitals to ensure that they embed screening as part of their treatment schedule. As they check that first step, we also want them to screen you on your mental wellness, so that by the time you're going to see a doctor, that doctor has a very great overview of this person that they are looking at.
First, you actually create rapport with them. It's not just approaching them, unamwambia oh kona shida. You actually start building a relationship where you can trust, the client can trust you, and from there you can actually start working together. And you actually come up with a treatment plan. That is, once they've agreed to work with you, you come up with a treatment plan. Now we go into a counseling session. But one thing as psychologists, we don't offer advice. We just help you. We just work with you through your offering you coping solutions to whatever it is that you're going through.
The document that is already approved by the World Health Organization, otherwise known as the PHQ-9. It's a document that will ask you questions, and depending on how you respond, then it gives a rating of where your status is at. At Mindful Kenya, we're also encouraging virtual screening. So we also have an app for Mindful Kenya where if you dial the number, you can also do self-screening for yourself. Then you can see how you're faring on. Then when you walk to a hospital, you can just show the doctor the results.
First, I accepted myself. I'd say that my healing process has been so short. Unlike the very many years I was looking for help in other psychiatrists.
I found a good specialist. They are so well understanding. And, they took me step by step, slowly by slowly. It was taking a lot of time for me to recover from a step to another, but they understood through it all. I keep myself busy. Sometimes I do art. I love cooking. Sometimes I do visit like street kids. We have fun, just talks and give them some presents. Yeah. Currently,
it's a year, 1 year, 2 months right now. Yeah, but unajua it's been like on and off. But for the past like 6-7 months, it's been like good. Like now, literally, I'm feeling like now like the normal person. Like now, I can literally see like an advert or like a gig, and I'm like, wow, I literally need to be there. Just recently wanted to start something that we could talk to high school students who are finishing school, because basically, if you have knowledge about some of the things that you are going to face, it will be easier for you, and you literally understand how to go ahead with them. You know?
Not everyone outside here is aware of their mental health. People just wake up and do whatever they do, and they don't focus on their mental health. Mental health is so important that I think the government maybe should create more awareness through campaigns, and doctors should be more educated on this so as to advise their patients correctly.
I think awareness has been done. but maybe not to the extent that people may expect, because there is still a lot of stigma associated with mental health. And the more the stigma basically means information is not really out there, because some people are still swaying away from these. And the problem is that some people tend to associate mental health with, like you're saying, illicit drugs, alcohol, things like that. So you see, it's like a chain. If you take illicit drugs, you may end up having mental health issues. Or you can have mental health issues and end up taking illicit. So it's like a chain of events. But I think with partnerships like these ones, Mindful Kenya coming in with the expertise, they'll be able to be able to identify all these cases.